Welcome back. I'm Wavepunk, and this is day 34 of producing for a year. Today we are back in our Psytrance finale track for the Boss Fight Chiptune EP we've been working on since the beginning of the channel, and it's finally time to actually make this track chiptune. It's been so far really a chiptune inspired Psytrance track, but I think I would like to have a genuine actual chiptune section here, and we're going to begin to add that today. The first thing I did was just move the hi-hat to come in a little bit later. I think that works a little bit better formally, but I listened to the track one time as I sat down for the first time of the day, and it really felt like where we were at the end of the session currently was where we should begin this chiptune breakdown. So the first thing to do is to turn the Psytrance elements we have right now into chiptune elements. So the first thing I thought to do was to bit crush and EQ out more of the kick to see if that made the kick sound good enough. It sounds fine. I don't have any context to really put it up against right now, so for right now it sounds kind of chiptuning, so we move on from that. The Psytrance bass honestly sounds 8-bit enough to leave in, so we just kind of copy-paste that for now. So next we take the MIDI data from the Stabby synth chord section that has a chiptune channel mirroring it. We duplicate that chiptune channel, and we put the MIDI data in there, turn off the reverb we had going, and then adjust in the 8-bit plugin this pulse duty setting from 50 to 12.5. This makes the sound much more original NES Game Boy-like. If anyone in the comments who's watching these videos knows exactly which device this wave was on, I'd love to know that detail. And without much adjustment, this sounded just fine. The next thing to do was to add an arpeggio with an 8-bit plugin. This one we put the pulse at 25%, not quite the fully rounded out 50, but not the exact same wave we already have going on. And then adjusting from our current settings, we lower the decay and the sustain to make the note a lot more stabby, much more appropriate for an arpeggio. Now, perfecting the MIDI in this section is so important. It's the difference between fine and great chiptune. And so I experimented with a few different arpeggio ideas. We tried it just straight without much movement in the beginning. Then we tried putting a melody in the bass. Didn't love how that sounded, so then we put a melody up in the treble. Still not quite working out, so then we tried adjusting the final arpeggio. Instead of going dooga-dagga, 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 dooga-dagga 4 times in a row, we go dooga-dagga 3 times, and the last time go dagga-dooga. So it goes dooga-dagga, 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 dagga-dooga. And it creates this little arch at the end, and that created a nice little point to add melody to. I do want to highlight that, I do genuinely believe that in chiptune music, every part needs to pull so much weight because the sounds are so inherently uninteresting. Like, just the actual sound wave itself, just that sound this sounds like a broken cable, right? This sounds bad, but because we make it into an interesting pattern, it becomes music. That's the beauty, the genius behind the chiptune genre and behind what the original creators of gaming devices back in the day, who had incredibly limited amounts of voltage and power that they could put through a incredibly limited vibrating diaphragm. Like they didn't even really call the speaker in a Game Boy a speaker. It wasn't a speaker. It was just a noise generating device that you could write music specifically for. It was so limited, and yet they were able to create such interesting and catchy sounds because they really spent the time, because they dedicated the time, that they chose to not settle for placeholder music. They chose to really make the piece interesting. And while I don't think this really compares, I will say the fact that this arpeggio on its own is... This arpeggio is interesting because we chose to take a lot of time to nitpick and to put a melody in it and not have it just be literally. I could have just left it as that the entire time and it would have sounded fine. But this is interesting because we chose to make both ideas good, and I love that. Now, you can see me waving at the camera there. I thought that was where I was going to end the video. I was going to have a nice little, like, me going, hey, folks, this is me leaving, while I'm waving and you're hearing the music play. But something cool is kind of about to happen. I'm going to click on the 8-bit organ sound from the beginning of the track, and I'm just going to noodle around. I'm going to find some chords and some sounds that really pull at my heartstrings, and I'm just going to allow myself to flow with the music and see what ideas come to me. This is something that I've done tons of times when making music, but I've never caught it on camera quite like this. I'm gonna find some cool sounds that really, in my mind, accentuate the piece. I don't quite know how to add them to the piece exactly, but I want to, and so I will try to. I'll lay down some chords, and then I'm gonna find out that adding this same sound in a melody form, in a melodic form, really helps add to the mournful, kind of somber nature of the piece. And ultimately I'm going to figure out that, hey, if I just play the melody from the first track we were working on at the very beginning of the channel, the track number 1 from the EP, and I put it in a minor mode, I put that melody in a minor mode, it's going to really create this wonderful callback to the beginning, and it's going to mean a lot to me. I'm just going to kind of let you guys watch as I go through these motions, probably edit very minimally. Enjoy. This is a really cool, these are really cool moments to kind of capture on camera. I don't know how much of what just happened will be in the edit, but I've been sitting here for like, I want to say 10 minutes, just listening to these 16 bars over and over again. There's something so powerful about the callback that's happening here. This putting this melody that in the first piece we were listening to, ba-da-bum, ba-ba-bum, bum, 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 is so jubilant, but to put it here, it just pulls at my heartstrings so heavily, and I don't know, like there's these moments when I'm able just to sit and just when I write something that I really like, and just sit and listen to it. I always feel bad because I'm like, I just wrote this. This is amazing. This is the only place in the world where this piece of music exists, and I'm just gonna sit here. And it's like when you find a new favorite song and you just listen to it 15 times in one day, and then the next day you don't like it anymore. I'm like worried I'm doing that to my own music, which luckily it's so I don't think I can to the same degree, but I also can. I don't know. It's really cool, and it makes me excited that this piece is, I think, having this little chiptune breakdown. Part of me almost wants to like start with this, but oh, the drop is so good. I don't know. I'm just happy to catch moments like this on camera. I'm excited to go back and watch my own faces and stuff like that. But it's funny because I definitely was planning on like ending the video when I got done with this, and then I was like, oh well, what if I just put like the pad underneath? And it felt so nice. I'm like, oh, let's just keep going. And then the ideas kept going. I'm glad I didn't stop. We'll end the video here, I guess, and we'll see what happens tomorrow. Gotta put some percussion in here. That Bit Crush Psytrance kick is still too punchy. I need some real chiptune noise driven drums for this to work. So we'll get there. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.